Welcome everybody. I'm here at Meinerswijk in the Netherlands, close to Arnhem. Hello Sinirlani. I hope I'm saying that right. Lamanot says hello. Jack says hello. So there's a lot of you guys waiting. It's a Sherman hull, indeed. It's pretty much an encased Sherman in concrete. You can pretty much see the hull coming through the concrete right there. Well, you can't get in. It's all closed up. They closed everything up. The gun has been removed by the army. These tanks, there is another one right over there, were encased here to protect that lock over there. And I don't really know the history because I couldn't really find anything on that lock and what its purpose is, but I think it is purposely to flood this whole area. To make sure the defense of Arnhem to make it much more, how do you say it? How do you explain it? When was it used? The Isolini was built up after the war again in the 1950s. So they used a lot of Sherman tanks they found on the battlefield. So most of the Sherman tanks were wrecked Sherman tanks. And some later in the war, later in the Cold War, they used decommissioned Sherman tanks from the Dutch army. But these were probably from the World War II. But they're pretty much complete Shermans casted in concrete. And they took the engine out, pretty much placed a hatch on top of it, and that was the exit and the entrance. You pretty much can see the hull over here where the concrete has disappeared, and by the looks of it, it had some white lines on top of it or something. And you can't get in here, it's all closed up. By the looks of it, some sort of impact or something. Maybe it was tested on for a short while in training or something. So, as you can see, it's all closed up. I think this is pretty much done during the 1950s already. So this is pretty much original. Because they really didn't need a cupola or something. But yeah, this is pretty much a primitive way of protecting something. Everything is closed, you can't open it. You can even see the gun mantelet was all welded to the turret. That's really interesting. So they could not place the gun. That's really interesting. So it would be pretty much locked in a vertical position. That's really weird. I don't think it was done after they shut everything down. I think that's pretty much done during the 1950s. You can also see they welded all these things off, those extra racks. So pretty much this was a World War II Sherman, because back in the day the Allies loved to place everything on their turrets and tanks so they can hang everything outside of the tank. It's probably a 75 that it had. There's also a Roman settlement over there, because this was pretty much part of the Limes line for the Roman army as well. So the Roman army had pretty much the same idea many years ago to protect this area, just like the Dutch army had. The Germans really didn't have any bunkers or anything around here. Grand Theft Gaming asks, why is that gun gone? Yeah, probably because the army took it. Maybe to scrap it. A lot of these guns were scrapped. Yeah. I'm going to try to get off of here without falling on my ass. But yeah, there you can see the locks, the water locks. There's the old Roman settlement to protect this area. There were a lot of settlements around this area for the Roman Empire. And pretty much this was the border of the Roman Empire for the Limes line. It was a trade line, but also a protective, defensive line. Here's another entrance and exit for bunker complex. You can see some British Shermans or Canadian Shermans, I think, in Arnhem. It was built in the 1950s to reconstruct the Isolini after World War II. No, it was never really in use. It's from the Cold War era, so they didn't really use it. Roman catapult, yeah, that would be right over there. Yeah, indeed, 2 Sherman bunkers. This one is a little bit overgrown. This one is really overgrown. But yeah, the gun has also been removed, and it's also locked in a precision. So there's no vertical going up or down. That's pretty weird. I have no idea if they did that because they removed the gun. But what's the point in keeping the gun mantlet on this thing if you're not going to use it anymore? Why didn't they scrap it? I have no idea what's up with that. There's a number on it. 193, I think. 182. I can see it better on the camera. That's really weird. 193. It's basically your whole Sherman tank. They pretty much. This is the back of the Sherman tank because the engine was removed, and they pretty much cut the whole back open and placed the hatch on top of this concrete bunker. So most of these Shermans also still have their tracks and their wheels. They're just dug in and concrete was all placed all around them. This was pretty much a simple method because the Netherlands had a lot of wrecked Sherman tanks lying all around because of the war. And yeah, this was a pretty simple method to protect yourself against the Russians or the Soviet invasion from the Cold War. Here's another entrance, pretty much with that same shape the Sherman had on top. Yeah, I have no idea why it's all closed up, but it could be to keep people from dumping stuff in there. But that doesn't explain the gun mantle at all welded against the tank. And it's pretty ordinary. I think that's done in the 1950s, but yeah, it's also really a clean weld. Not we're going to just dump it. This hatch is done after the war because the hatch has been cut off, the normal hatch. If the Soviets got this far, they would have won. Yeah, indeed. But Deutsche tanks in World War II are wonderful. Yeah, they really look awesome. So you can see a Firefly also on this picture. And most of these tanks were wreck tanks from World War II. They were used in the Isolini defense line. And the Isolini was finished in 1945. You see here. They had commando bunkers and all sort of bunkers on this area. But yeah, there's that Roman settlement. Pretty much placed some stones around it to give it some shape. Yeah, it's not much to see from the Roman settlement itself. It's all on the ground. But yeah, there aren't many bunkers left. These are the only two, and that floodgate over there. There's another bunker that's all the way down there to protect the railway bridge at Oosterbeek. And I think that one is a Sherman Firefly. Grand Theft Gaming says if you push hard you can rotate the turrets. Yeah. If I was the Hulk. Here's that other hatch. And the turret. And as you can see, they welded the gun mantle to the front of the turret. And it's pretty clean weld as well. So I think it's done during the 1950s by the army itself. Not by some hillbilly just cleaning up after the army. I missed what you said. Wait. Just get really mad, Pandora, and you will turn green. And you will turn green. No, the mantle wasn't shot. This is the MG hole, and those are the other holes, and I have no idea what this is. Is that another MG hole? No. Another periscope hole? I don't think so. It could be that these were shot. This is the hole for the gas canister, for the smoke grenade. But everything is shot. But they probably did that during when they were making these. You can see some air filters. Another one here from those holes. And here again. And some hooks to hook on some camouflage nets. You can see some battle damage on these. This was probably a knocked out Sherman at one point. Maybe for some target practice after these bunkers were decommissioned and the Isolini was decommissioned. Because it had some hits on it. And here. But the other bunker is pretty much clear of any damage. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm going to have a look at that floodgate now. Maybe some more people are coming in. Yes, there's a complete Sherman hull in this concrete. Most of the Sherman hulls even had their tracks and wheels still left. They were just dumped in a hole, and concrete was all placed around them and on top of them. Only leaving the turret exposed, of course. Engine was removed. The engine back became the entrance and exit. Yeah, indeed, how could they turn the turret when there's all these concrete around? But they have a sort of metal slab. This the normal hull over here. So they, just like here, this is just a hull. This is the beginning of the how do you say it? The radio operator's hatch is right here. Some of the tanks had their tracks and wheels removed, but most of them probably did. But it's just a sort of necessary measure. It's not really necessary, so they just dumped it. Most of the tracks and wheels were removed anyway after the war by metal scrappers and army engineers. As you can see here, there's also that metal slab around it. I think this is just the normal turret hull. And this is made by the Dutch army. Probably to hook up something else to it. Make it look like a house, camouflage it, throw some camo nets on there. So that's pretty interesting to see. And it's still a original World War II Sherman. Just like that one. How's the quality? Because I get some quality issues and connection issues, I see. So is the quality down? There is some ventilation, but yeah, there are all these holes on the side over here. So maybe they act like ventilation, but I think the most of ventilation comes from the top of the Sherman. Okay, the connection is perfect. It's pretty weird how YouTube works sometimes. Sometimes the app shows there is a connection problem and then everything is okay. And most of the time I don't get any alerts. The connection is bad for you guys. So I have no idea what that's all about. But that's YouTube. So yeah, let's have a look at that floodgate. I think pretty much everybody has seen these Shermans. It's free. Lamanot, you don't have to pay to get in here. It's just a sort of park now. There are some wild horses behind those floodgates. And you really need to watch your step because there's a lot of horse shit everywhere. And yeah, it's pretty much a park now. There were a lot of people around a few minutes ago, but they're all gone. Probably because it's going to rain soon, because that's a really dark cloud coming my way. But yeah, let's beat the weather before it's raining. So say goodbye to the Shermans. Here's one Sherman bunker, and we had a look at a few minutes ago at that Sherman bunker right over there. That's the other entrance to a bunker complex that probably leads to this one as well, but I'm not really sure. There were commando bunkers and telephone bunkers here at one point. Some of these houses were also from the army. Most of these houses were some sort of concealed bunkers to look like houses, but they were pretty much made as a ammunition storage. And that thing you see over here, that's also another floodgate. There's an old factory right over there. So here was an old floodgate, but it's all overgrown. So yeah, the Dutch army really like to play with water a lot in their defensive line, just like the Romans did back in the Lamay defensive line. That's also right here. There are a lot of Roman settlements and other stuff over here you can see. And there's the railroad bridge. It pretty much leads into Oosterbeek. And if you've seen the bridge too far, you see that railway bridge too in the movie. As you can see, a lot of water. This is the Netherlands. I'm from the Netherlands. That's why there's almost all water everywhere. Yeah, so this is that floodgate, so they pretty much made it here so they can flood this whole area on purpose to create another defensive line. I don't know if you can see this, but I think there's another floodgate right over there. And not an extra one, probably to let all the water come in here. So this is the floodgates. And the horses, the wild horses are all gone now. But they left a lot of shit and duty. That's a lot of duty. But yeah, these are the floodgates. Waterlocks. If you're American, do you call it floodgates or is it waterlocks? I think Americans call it waterlocks. So as you can see, now you can't see the Shermans from here, but if you go a few steps further, you can pretty much see both Sherman tanks. There's one of the wild horses right there. I missed what you said. There is one other tank bunker around here, and that's more over at Oosterbeek. It's over there between those houses, but that's a long walk, and I need to take a swim then because I have to cross the water to get there. That one was pretty much to protect this area and the railway bridge. I can see one of the bunkers. That's the point of one of the bunkers, and that's where the other one is. Most of the time when it's really warm, all the horses are pretty much here. So you have to walk around and slalom around the horses because they like the shade that this Watergate gives them. There are 3 of the wild horses right there. There and there. And a lot of duty. And now you can see one of the bunkers. Ja, ik loop terug naar het pannenkoekhuis. There's one of the bunkers. The other one at Oosterbeek is what I think a Firefly, but I'm not really sure. So yeah, for the people that are tuning in now, I'm already walking back. And the bunkers there's one over there. And there's one over there where that bicycle comes from. And there's another Roman settlement over there. From the Limay defensive position. That was a Roman defensive position. Now you can see a lot of horses right over there. And the Oosterbeek railway bridge. Yeah, indeed, the back is pretty much elongated because of the recoil of the gun. But I didn't see that tank for such a long time. The last time I was here was 5 years ago or something. And then I visited that other tank tour too. Sturmente asks, what's your favorite tank of World War II? Japanese tanks. I like the look of them. And whoa, car. Didn't even know that cars could drive here. And the other one is German Panzer tank. So yeah, that's basically it. There's another floodgate right over there. See some more questions popping up. Nou, nee, ik ben nog niet bij die derde bunker geweest. Die derde bunker, die derde tankbunker is bij Oosterbeek in de buurt. Dus dan moet ik naar de overkant zwemmen. What's your... yeah, I see some Japanese, but what's your name in Japanese? Because I can't read kanji. Or is that Chinese? No, it's Japanese, right? But he says from childhood he is the man who has made Tamiya model tanks. I have made a lot of Tamiya model tanks when I was younger. And my first model was a MiG airplane from Italy. What's my favorite tank in World War II? I just answered that question. Als je tussen die 2 bunkers staat, dan is er nog een andere kleinere bunker. Dat is pretty much another entry and exit point. Die derde bunker. En de derde turret is een stukje verderop in Oosterbeek. Dus er zijn 3 turrets. That stone factory right over there, you mean? There's another bunker right there. Don't think you can really metal detect here or find anything. Maybe some old pieces of houses, because there are pieces lying everywhere. I think after World War II, the Dutch really did their dumping right here. There are old bricks everywhere. So maybe is a lot of old battle dumping grounds and battle relics around here. There are a lot of bugs here. But yeah, so there's another bunker, but I'm not really willing to walk back all the way there. It's pretty warm at the moment. And I don't have any water. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So maybe I'm going to the next bunker and have a look at that one. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So I will be back in a 25 minutes maybe. It's pretty much is how far it is and how busy it is at the moment on the roads. Well, there's not really a lot of fog, it's just bad weather, cloudy weather. So yeah, you can see the bunker right over there. And that's the end of the live stream. I don't know if you guys have any more questions. My car is all the way right over there. Boop. You can just see the top of it. I'm going to make no, I'm not going to make a video on the bunkers itself. I already did a video on them a long time ago. And now there's one there, there's one in the middle, and there's another bunker turret right there. And you say there's behind the stone mill there's another one. So there are 4. And there's a 5th one at Oosterbeek. So yeah, no more questions. Then I'm going to log off. It's always more people coming in after the live stream is almost over. De 4e en 5e wist je zelf niet. Now I'm going to have a look at the 5th bunker. So I will see you in 25 minutes. And then I will start the live stream up again. And then we can see the other bunker. So have some patience, and the live stream will start up again. If the live stream doesn't start up again, then I will start up a new live stream. I'm not going to walk, I'm going to drive. I'm not a crazy person. Plus I have to swim, because there's a lot of water between Oosterbeek and this section here. So, see you soon. Here's another information board. Power Gem Gaming says, if it doesn't start, we will just assume you're dead. Don't worry. Do you love Stalinium? So this says something about the waterlocks, and they call it a doorlaatbrug. So it pretty much translates in true, true, let water through bridge. Some odd reason, because the normal translation for Watergate in Dutch is sluis. But okay, they call it a walk bridge. Okay, let's go. Hello. So this is pretty much the other bunker. Welcome back, you guys. This one is not closed off. Probably because it's not really well known. Just waiting for the rest of the people to come back to the stream. And we can go on. See, this also has a turret hatch. But this also has the gun mantle welded to the turret again. So don't know what's up with that, and they're all in the same elevation as the other ones, just slightly aimed down. Of course, this is also a complete sunken in Sherman. There's the hatch right over here, under some dirt, and it would probably protect this area. You could see back in the day the bridge, and this trailer park wasn't here. And this older house was probably here, but probably was owned by the army at one point. And they pretty much demolished the rest of the older houses, I think. Because there are a lot of newly built houses in this area. Only for this specific building right here. It pretty much looks like something the army would like to own. Back in the 1950s. So this is pretty much a more complete Sherman. But this was welded off for some reason. So these things would probably have a commander's hatch. The other, the stand for the 50 cal was cut off. So yeah, that's pretty much all of the Shermans. Pretty much this bunker and the other one. That's pretty much it. Could also protect this road if it wants to, because it has a good elevation. So all the trees would probably be cut down. This would all be gone. So it had a good elevation of here to the river. And all the way down there. And a good look at the bridge. So yeah, so if you guys have any questions, I'm going to cut this stream off. We have seen all the bunkers. We've seen all the 3 turret tanks, the turret bunkers. We've seen the command bunker, and that's pretty much it. Over there is Oosterbeek, and this is the last piece of Arnhem. You can see the sign of Oosterbeek right there. It doesn't seem to have any battle damage. Of course, this is also a complete dug-in Sherman tank. It has some original paint on it. So you can see the oxy primer. The red oxy primer. The paint just falls off when you touch it. And you can look inside this one. There's not much to see, only cobwebs. The other holes are not welded shut. This is though. One of the bolts has broke off. But yeah, that's pretty much it. This was probably a knocked out Sherman from World War II, and they placed it in a hole and placed some concrete on it. Removed the engine so they have an entrance and an exit. But yeah, I don't see any questions anymore. So this will be the end of the live stream. So I hope you enjoyed this live stream, and I will see you in my next one.